Friday morning. It's good for you to join with me in this vlog. I'm going to shoot this vlog differently to the previous ones. This is a kind of retrospective one. So I will take you on my journey today, filming with FuelCast, and then I will reflect on the past month and what's been kind of going on, what I've been up to, and what's ahead. So I'm going to take you on the journey. As I say, it's about 6:30 at the moment. I've been on leave for a month. 6:30 is early, isn't it? Man, it's early. So I'm going to grab some coffee and a spinach and pineapple smoothie to get me set up for the day, and then I'll take you filming with me. About to go to Bristol, and as I said on my Insta stories, Andy wants to film outside today. Just yeah. Now, to be fair, that could just be Wales, but if not, it's going to be a fun day. So I'm really looking forward to taking you kind of behind the scenes as we film some FuelCast videos. Yeah, should be fun. Let's go. So that's filming done with FuelCast, which was great. We did 6 devotions, so they'll be coming out as kind of just looking at different encounters of Jesus. The weather forecast was like torrential rain, so we filmed indoors rather than out on location. So and now it's beautiful weather. That's always the way, isn't it? But it's actually quite windy, so it would have been a bit of a headache to film. So yeah, I'm going to head back and then I'm going to reflect on the kind of past month and what I've been up to. So I'll see you back at the house. Yeah, we're back. Welcome to my office, or a slightly different angle of my office. You've been in my office before. Yeah, I just thought I'd take some time to reflect with you, kind of what I've been up to the past month. One big thing is I went to London. I had a few kind of work meetings in London, but I also went to see friends and be with people. Wow, that was amazing after the kind of 18 months we've had. It was so refreshing just to be in a place where I could see multiple people in different locations. It was amazing. One of the things I did do, one of the touristy things I did do, is I went to the British Library. They had an exhibition on about feminism, celebrating the kind of work of feminism, the actions, what it's done, what it's achieved. But the theme of it was unfinished business, because there's still so much more to do in terms of equal rights, in terms of treatment, not just in this country, but man, in lots of countries around the world, there's still an unfinished business of equal rights and treatment for women. And so I got my nice little banner, change is the agenda. I love that phrase, and I think that's just going to be a really helpful backdrop for lots of church-based Zoom meetings that I will be having, because we recognise, don't we? We recognise in the church and within the Baptist movement that we're not where we should be in terms of including women and women in positions of authority. I've spoke before about Project Violet, and that's about women sharing their experience. And when women share their experience, we're then, the aim, the hope, the desire, the prayer is that after this sharing and listening, our structures will begin to change. Our structures within the Baptist family, Baptist movement are changing. And so you will know I'm Vice President of Baptist Together at the moment. My presidency will start in May 2022, and so that's really exciting. And in September, I'm about to take on a really new role, which is with the Northern Baptist Association. And so this month I also journeyed up north. Now, I'll show you a bit of the journey we'll be showing now. Wow, I'm currently in Cardiff and had to drive to Durham. That's not an easy route, and I don't think I realised just how north the Northern Baptist Association was. But I'm really looking forward to going up there. But the purpose of that was to meet the team, the existing team, along with their current team leader. The regional minister team leader is retiring at the end of August, and they decided not to kind of replace that role. They decided to create a new role. And the new role is a regional minister for kind of strategy and transition. Sounds really grand, doesn't it? And what does that mean? Well, basically they're recognising that some good stuff has happened in the past so many years in the NBA. But we're at a crucial moment. We're at a crucial time. And COVID has kind of sped this up a bit, but it was happening anyway. Of how do associations relate to churches and ministers? How do we equip, how do we resource ministry and mission? And therefore the NBA recognise that there's a period of time here where they have to kind of move from what happened before, as good as it was, into what God's calling them to in the future. And they didn't want to rush that process, so they put out to appoint someone to work that out, to work out what association life is going to be like in the future, with mission and pioneering at its heart. And when I read that, my heart kind of jumped. I thought that's really, really exciting. It's a moment where we can seize on the God's momentum to partake in what God's doing and be flexible in our structures. And so after some discerning, they called me to that position. And I'm really, really excited about the role and all that it has. I feel a pressure with it. I'm not going to lie, there is a huge pressure, isn't there? Discern what God's doing and put that into a form that makes sense for people. But at the same time, it's an amazing opportunity for an association to totally rethink how it functions in this new world. And why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because one of the key things I did in July was meet the team. But the blessing of it, the joy of it, was sitting back as an observer and seeing how the team relate to each other and what that looks like, what their gifts are, what their personality is like. And now this is just a given snapshot, but it's really helpful for me to see that. The outgoing team leader, John, he's been in post for I think about 20 years. So it's really interesting to hear his stance and his take on the association. And when you are starting a new role, his role's not being replaced. Paul and I are sharing some of that team leader stuff. It gives space not to kind of follow on. One of the analogies in leadership like this is the passing on of the baton, and I struggle with that slightly, because I think actually what we need to do is drop the baton, and that which is of God will last, and that which is personality driven, which ministries often have a mix of both, will just fade away, and that's a healthy thing. I like the idea of foundations being built and building another kind of layer onto that and so forth. So it was good to see all that John's done, and what he's kind of achieved in that place, and how he's worked with all the member churches. And so there are key characteristics, I think, that will remain in the team that John's kind of instilled and departed in them. And then my role comes in as a kind of, right, okay, so those are the foundations, but actually how do we release something different, something new? And so that's the challenge I have ahead of me. That's why it was important for me to go and spend some time with the team, even though one of those members is retiring. And also just to give you guys a heads up of that's what I'll be doing. And I'll be vlogging my way through that, just to share with you my thoughts and reflections. And this was part of the listening process. One of the big things in change management, in transition, is listening. And what I've found helpful in past ministries that I've had in church and regional roles is to have an understanding of what's gone before. That doesn't mean I will mimic or go in line with what's gone before, but it's having an understanding of the culture that I am stepping into in terms of leadership. And so I've always been one to read old church minutes and everything else, and this is part of the listening. And it's understanding the DNA of a place, so that when change happens, we do that on the knowledge of what's gone before. There's always a reason why people react in certain ways. Either it's not in their DNA, it's been done before. How many times do we hear that in church life? Oh, we tried that before. So it's learning. So I'm just in this phase at the moment of listening, going up and spending time with the team as it kind of existed, was part of that listening, seeing how they interact, and then looking and evaluating at what I will bring and at what pace to do that. So if you're a church in the NBA, a minister in the NBA watching this, and you think we've got some ideas about how regional life should be, how we want to associate with the regional team, then get in touch with me. If you're a minister from across our Baptist family, or a church member from across our Baptist family, our Baptist movement, that is watching this thinking, actually I've got some ideas about how I think the association should relate to churches and ministers, again, get in touch. I mean, I'm in this listening phase, and I want to hear what you've got to say. So basically that's what I've been up to. But in the backdrop of that, as I say, I'm meant to be on leave. So I'm trying not to do too much work, although I recognise my headspace, sometimes I need something to keep me going. I'm also trying to rest and relax and look after myself, knowing that in the next phase of what God has for me is going to be spiritually, mentally and emotionally exhausting. Fantastic and exciting, but there's an exhaustion related to that. So I've just been trying to get myself in the right place, mentally prepared for that, spiritually prepared for that. Doing some reading. One of the things that happens as a minister is you'll go to places and people will quote from books or recommend a book. You think, oh, that looks great. And you get it and you never have time. So I've got time now to do some reading. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've also got some time just to watch Netflix. Loving that. So I'm going to leave it there. I've waffled on a bit, but hopefully in these vlogs you'll kind of get a bit more of an insight into how my brain works. I know that's really scary, isn't it? not too much of an insight, but in the process of why I do what I do during the week, what shapes me, what motivates me, how we are going to transition and look at strategy across the MBA, and how all that's going to feed into the vice presidency and presidency when that comes round. So please do, if you like these vlogs, give them a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and you will never miss this high quality content. But most importantly, engage. Please do, ping me, message me, email me. If you want to go old school and write to me, I'll accept that. I'm happy with that. Let's join in the conversation. What do you think are the biggest changes that need to happen in Baptist Association life? Let me know. Answers on a postcard. So yeah, here's my social media handles just to keep in touch daily with what's going on. Hit the thumbs up to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell never to miss out, and I'll see you soon.